Now, in Kansas, there is unfinished electoral business in the race for governor, but all in all, the Trump-endorsed candidates performed well, very well in these primaries. Question is, how does this translate into GOP victories in November? Joining me now from Atlanta, Georgia, GOP strategist and attorney Michael Abramson. Michael, there's a lot to sort out here, and we want to piece it all together, but let's start with Ohio District 12, and the unfinished results there between the Republican and the Democrat, Troy Balderson, really just a percentage point separating these two or less. The recount will be automatic. This is a district that went double digits for Donald Trump. These are suburban-type voters. Balderson receives the all-important endorsement from the President of the United States, and obviously that probably helped him at least possibly energize the base. But I think in this case, I wonder if you disagree with me, but I believe that in this case, that both sides can claim victory here because it is so close, and it does happen during a special election, which is rather odd. I mean, the fact that the race is so close that I think no matter the outcome, both the Republicans and the Democrats can say, hey, this is a great sign for November.
Well, I mean, I think I look at it, first of all, at a practical standpoint, that if the results hold, the Republicans win. In some sense, moral victories don't count. Close only counts in horseshoes. The Republicans have won 9 out of 11 special elections that have been held since President Trump has been president.
Special elections, though, Michael, are exactly that. They're special. And especially when they're happening in the month of August, when a lot of people aren't paying attention, a lot of people are on vacation. And now we have a do-over, in effect, right? These same two candidates are going to face off in November. So if Balderson wins, he's going to be a congressman for all of a couple of months. And this campaign mode really is going to continue all the way through November.
Exactly. And it will be interesting to see what happens in November, because certainly in special elections and primaries, turnout is low. And you talk to strategists all the time. They say it's all about getting out the vote, which is pretty obvious, but especially in an election like this where the turnout is just so low.
Here's what's concerning to me for the Republican Party. There are in the neighborhood of close to 70. I think the number is 68 districts that are less Republican. These are congressional districts where the races are up in November, that are less Republican than District 12 in Ohio. And so if District 12 in Ohio, I know obviously Ohio is very different than Mississippi, then it's different than from California, of course, but in generally speaking, if there are that many districts that are less Republican than Ohio 12, doesn't that send a chill down the spine of the RNCC?
Well, it's hard on some level to extrapolate from one special election to other districts, but the Republicans really just have to focus on what has gotten them there and what has increased President Trump's popularity: the economy, national security, the tax cut, and repealing the individual mandate. And they just all got to get on the same page and just continuing that strong messaging.
All right, Kansas governor, the race on the Democrat side, Laura Kelly taking it. On the Republican side, it's too close to call. They're still counting the votes there. But Knobloch is interesting because Knobloch got this late endorsement from President Trump, and it may be just what he needed as a 0.1% lead over the current Governor Collier. But this may be the little push that he needed to get over the top, once again proving Donald Trump's strength here in helping the Republican candidates in the primaries.
Exactly. President Trump has a lot of strength, and he has a great way of getting to the people through his social media, through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. He doesn't have to rely on other people to be sort of the medium for his message. And I think that's what really helps him a lot to reach his voters.
Michigan's governor's race is interesting on the Republican side. This guy, Schuett, is actually the focus of a federal investigation right now, but he pulls it out in his race for governor. At least he gets the nomination anyway, surviving this federal probe. His opponent, though, this Whitmer, is about as radical as you can get. So the folks of Michigan, they have a stark choice here. Whitmer is for universal preschool, Medicaid expansion, abortion on demand, and, of course, increasing the minimum wage. So a stark contrast between these two candidates.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great opportunity for the Republicans to really message and talk about their brand. I mean, I think it's great when the Democrats come out and say what they really mean. Voters can have a choice and be informed about who they're picking.
Michigan Senate, we'll stay in the Wolverine state right now. Michigan Senate is very interesting. Donald Trump comes out and he endorses John James, and he ends up winning the nomination. Democrat primary, of course, walked away by Debbie Stabenow, who ran unopposed here. But the goal here for James is to flip this seat, this Senate seat. And it's quite a task here because obviously Stabenow is the incumbent here. But also James is a bit of a political novice, so he's got quite a task in front of him.
He does have quite a task, but Donald Trump pulled out Michigan, which was a big surprise for him. And of course, James is also a veteran, which is going to pull strongly. And I think he's going to be very competitive.
Missouri Senate, it's a similar situation where you have a guy who's trying to unseat a sitting Democrat senator. That would be Claire McCaskill in Missouri. Claire McCaskill walking away with her nomination. And you have Josh Hawley, who we heard from just a couple of minutes ago. Interesting character. He's got a solid background. And once again, he got the endorsement, a very strong and hearty endorsement from the 45th president.
Yeah, again, Michigan is one of those places where Donald Trump did great. He won it by 21. And, the Republicans really should have been picked up Michigan back in 2012. But Todd Akin had some unforced errors, and that's why he lost to McCaskill. So I feel really good about Missouri.
All right, so what can we conclude here? We step back and you look at the results. Well, the obvious conclusion is the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has tremendous effect on the Republican primaries. And if you happen to get a presidential endorsement from Donald Trump, there's a darn good chance you're going to pull out the nomination. But the question is, how does something like this presidential endorsement translate into victory in November when it's a general election, when it's not in the middle of summer, when people are paying attention, and possibly when the Democrat base is all ginned up?
It's going to be interesting to see. I think as I said before, the Republicans got to stick with their messaging. And we also have to remember that Republicans are going to be excited as well. They've been treated to the past 2 years of some strong anti-Trump media and rhetoric, and they know the stakes as well coming into it. So it should be really interesting.
A lot of things going on in a positive direction for the Republicans going into November. The economy is looking very, very strong. Many of the Trump policies are having a very positive effect on this republic. But then you go back to the results in Ohio. Again, no matter how that thing ends, I think it's a warning shot for the Republican Party to get itself in gear as it gets ready for the November elections. And I also think that in the end, what we're looking at here in November is indeed a referendum on the president, the 45th president of the United States. Really, with his endorsements, this election really is all about Donald Trump. Michael, thanks.